Hello, everybody. There we go. Welcome back. Hi. So, trait votes have been voted. Things have been done, and it's time to tally the results. So let me gather them up here, and we will see what's what.
Bring forth our faith.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm excited.
First thing, everybody else got 99 votes. Okay, now everybody else had 100 votes. I have 96.
Four people just don't care.
I'm going to find you. I'm going to try and help you and fail miserably, and then get you killed by a weird
ghost. Yeah.
Man, and people say I'm murderously embittered.
All right. So
That's just Dave.
3. Yeah, right. Dave is a different character altogether. And 4.
Thank you, whoever just voted.
Mine are too close.
All right, here we go. Okay, so I haven't placed my vote, so let me do that before I see the results.
Hmm.
Do the right thing, Adam.
That's right, I gotta vote. Let's see.
Doesn't matter for you, Andrew.
Adam's just like, I vote, and it counts like 500 votes.
Yeah, weird. Like 7,000 people just voted. So strange.
Yeah, I never would have thought that would happen. Totally.
All right. That was easy for me. I already had favorites going in.
Yeah.
All right, so Agatha, with a 65% lead, you get vindictive.
So
your trait.
I'm going to go on a rant right now about this. I have feelings, and I was thinking about it on the break, and I realized I should have argued against this right from the jump, which is that I already have an instinct that is this. Here is my thing that is getting me down, is that I have an instinct, which is like the thing that was getting me in trouble to merit this whole conversation around being like, oh yeah, Agatha's vindictive, and it's never let a trespass go unpunished. I have this instinct. If I have the instinct and the trait,
Instincts can be changed. Traits are who you are.
You've acted into that instinct enough times that it has become part of your character.
But then here's the thing is, if I want to play optimally for Burning Wheel,
Make a new instinct.
I remove this instinct and use a different one.
Yeah.
And then I lose its benefit, which was interesting to me, of being able to always be like, no, I get to curse this person. Anyways, yeah, this is a feeling I have where I'm kind of salty.
No, but this is by design.
By
Like that's
playing on vindictive.
That's a thing that Burning Wheel wants. It wants beliefs acted on and instincts acted on to become traits. So that happening is totally normal and not a thing to be like it. You're thinking of it as, now I can't use my instinct, but Burning Wheel is saying make a new one that's different and better, and you keep the benefit of the existing one, right, as a trait.
Because you can still get
fate
for acting on being vindictive and having that complicated.
I mean, your instinct could be like, always be ready with a
curse.
curse, right? And now you use them vindictively.
Yeah.
Now you will have them prepared.
So, Alessandra, yours was super close.
Yeah, mine are very close.
The margin on this one is very, very close.
The ones that are helpful to me, of course, are the ones that are behind.
31% of the votes, compared to the next most, which is 28, compared to the next most, which is 24%. People don't think you're. There's only 18 people who think you're stubborn. You get jealous as your trait. All right.
Jealous is a pretty good one.
It is a pretty good one. That's true.
It's just a character trait.
Oh, Blue Jay. that was the perfect reaction.
It's not helpful to me. Chat.
Joy.
Character traits don't do anything.
Joy, with only a 10% margin over embittered, you get the Fool.
Okay.
Which is cool. It's a good one.
That's a call-on trait for Ugly Truth.
Call on for Ugly Truth. Yep. And then Miro, also relatively close. You get Messianic.
Yes.
A lot of people thought you were reckless, but Messianic wins it for you.
Not gonna lie, I voted reckless.
He's definitely both. It was which one was the most fitting.
Cool. Okay.
Talking about Messianic, apparently there's an actual die trait that works similarly, but we were thinking of changing. Sorry, it wasn't my idea, so I don't remember the exact specifics of it.
It's charismatic. That's what Messianic was based on. But charismatic is a call-on for persuasion or oratory. We thought that Messianic would be a call-on.
Messianic isn't. No, I think it's just a character trait.
Okay.
It's just you have the nature of a messiah about you.
I thought that would be a call-on for like suasion.
No, there's no reason to just like make something a call-on trait.
Well,
if
but
it
we
doesn't feel
based
like
it off of charismatic.
No, you suggested charismatic, and I counter-suggested messianic as a character trait. Yeah, I don't think that this is something that is actually helping Miro yet, but it certainly could.
Cool.
So let's talk about reputation. So, who has
So
reputations?
I didn't know that there was a reputation altering thing. What is this?
Yeah, we talk about whether your reputation gets better, like stronger, or has faded,
Or it goes away.
Yeah, it's how
I
they
have
get.
reputations.
It's how
What's
they
the
get
page for this?
all this stuff is on 59, I think.
For reputation too?
Let me see. Trait vote.
I didn't know about this and I just want to know about it.
That's where the trait vote is, but I guess it's probably in the reputation section.
Okay, I'll
And
look.
so yeah, this is where we do new reputations if they're merited, or advance existing ones to be higher die bonus.
Yes.
Well, given that is the case,
Okay, so new reputations. At the end of a scenario, this is on page 384. The process is exactly the same as nominating and voting for a new trait or character. We can just talk about this as a group. So the breadth of the reputation is dependent on the eyes that spawned it. Massive battle that saves the crown, 3D. Brilliant day at court, 2D. Settling a dispute between two feuding families, 1D. Advancing in reputation. Existing one may be enhanced by your performance in the game. They can only increase by 1 die per scenario. If a character has an infamous or hostile reputation to a certain circle, they gain +1 ob, and they can also change at this time too.
Okay.
I have a suggestion for myself,
Okay.
which is I am a 1 die infamous hex witch.
Yes.
I just cursed the queen to have a.
You gonna
cone
take credit for
over.
that?
I mean, I think rumor will circulate, and that I will be.
I'm giving you the option right now. If you just let rumors circulate and everything, cool. But if you're like, I did this, 2 dice, no problem.
Yeah, I did it. Let's go. Let's go. It was me. I did it.
Ooh,
Wow.
Okay, like that's
Woo.
going to be very significant for your character's arc in that like you're going to have to flee the castle.
I mean,
I start playing that reclusive now. Like
I was kind of thinking this would need to be the case anyway.
I did it. It was me.
So I'm gonna just double down. It's not straight up like she takes credit, but it's like everyone knows. You know, like
Yeah, I mean, I don't think you.
Probably because you flee.
I
Well,
don't dance upon her grave.
Well, so this is what this is. It means yes, it means you have hexed the Queen of Carpathia, and everyone knows it, and there can't be a situation where you're like, no, you know what, I didn't do it.
No, yes, totally.
Cool.
She
And I'm
didn't
down.
brag about it, but everyone knows. I think that's much more.
this is.
I think that is illustrated by like you fled right after that happened. Serica was right there and saw you leaving. So
Right, like,
that
there's
was
just so
probably where it
much
started.
circumstantial evidence, and I'm a witch that it's just like no, like it doesn't make sense for it not. To
Okay,
be.
well, so I think that you need also then a paired 2 die infamous reputation against like anyone who thinks cursing the queen is a bad idea as an infamous hex witch, right?
Well,
like it's your reputation
it is an infamous reputation.
it's already infamous. Okay, all
Yeah.
right, cool.
Yeah, and it's getting worse, is what I'm
Okay,
saying.
yes, definitely. Yeah, so it's plus 2 ob, but also you can leverage it as advantage when people are like, yeah, that's cool. Infamous hex witches are great.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Good. Anybody else have existing reputations that may need modification?
I have
Oh, good. Yes. Fantastic.
I have my reputation as infamous impious.
Right. Yes. I don't think that's advanced
I
at
don't
all.
think it has.
No. No, I think
No.
that's fine. I think it just exists. And it's a small one, right? It's against the
Yeah.
court.
Just the clergy or people at court who give a shit about like God and stuff, piousness. I mean, the whole culture is pious, but
Only against people who have the pious trait. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine.
Speaking of piety, I have quite a few reputations.
Yeah. Well, so let's just double check quickly. So, Alessandra, are there any new things that we think you should get?
I don't know exactly how this works, but there was a role for a new affiliation with the Queen's Circle.
Oh yeah,
I think that should be a thing.
Yeah. Okay. Sure. I think a one die affiliation with the inner circle of the queen.
Yeah.
Okay.
Getting it bigger than that is probably going to require investment of like resources and stuff.
Absolutely.
I think one die is super reasonable place to start.
So a one die affiliation, Queen's Inner Circle.
I agree. Yes. I think
Cool.
That's totally fine.
I don't think that there's she hasn't been trying to get anything on a reputation of being close to the king, or she hasn't other than coming out at court. Maybe there's something to do there with her like being on the market again. Like, is there any kind of reputation
I don't think
there?
that's about a rep. Now, if you were like to go out of your way to try to like reject suitors, or like
Yeah,
you know
that
you could
hasn't happened
yeah
yet.
you could build a reputation around that for sure.
Okay. Then that's probably it.
Okay. All right. Cool. All right. And then let's see. Yeah, do you want to do yours, Miro?
Pretend I didn't preempt a segue and had a really clever one for this moment as well.
Okay.
So I'm currently blessed by the angels for one dice with the church and the common folk and nobles. I got those all separately.
Mhm.
Can I just squish that? Can I just be one dice blessed by the angels?
No, because there's still people that don't know or believe that, right? We talked about this before about how there's like there's still a portion of society that doesn't know who you are or care.
And one die specifically means that it has a narrow scope. If you wanted to squish everything together and be like, it applies to all these people, it would be a 2 die at
Right.
that point.
Yeah, the people of Carpathia.
Okay.
Yeah, which
Yeah,
something to
they-
angle for.
It's kind of weird with reputations because they scale twice,
Yeah.
right? It's like not only do more people know, but like a broader range of people know, and then also you get more dice out of it. So it's like
Yeah, well, and the reason is because when you make the circles test, you only pick one of your reputations, and in this case, you have 3 one die reputations. But eventually, you could have 1 2 die reputation that applies to everybody. So when you do a circles, you'll get 2 dice because lots of people know and word gets out.
Okay, that's totally fine. In that case, I don't think that has advanced, especially after the last session. I have the reputation haunted, which is a 1 dice infamous with the common folk, which I got after a failed spell, I think.
That was after our duel of wits. You tried to have like glowing wings and shit, and everyone was just like spooky.
hey,
Yeah.
do y'all remember when Miro summoned a ghost and it murdered everyone
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that.
in a graveyard? You remember that?
However, there
No
were
one
no
alive.
survivors.
There is one survivor.
Right, but you
Well,
can't
but
have a
that
rep with
survivor
one
is
person,
correct.
and that guy's hype
No.
about that shit.
No, I know. I'm just
But yes, word could very easily get out. Miro will need to make sure that
are you
Uncle
gonna actively
Uncle
try and
Robillard
prevent
doesn't go
that?
around telling people about the great ghost that murdered everyone. And you've got bodies to cover up, right? Like
Yeah, like, is that going to be something that you have to do or get a reputation?
I
You
mean
can't just leave dead bodies laying in a house.
so
full of them.
a reputation is one thing that might happen as a result of that, but also like yeah, there's
a murder, a decapitation.
yeah, an execution is potentially on the books here. A burning at the stake.
Yeah.
You
Okay.
know, there was a point in this game where I thought I was the one most in danger of being murdered, and I'm feeling real good right now. Just like really,
You literally just got a trait to protect you from getting
I
hurt.
know.
Yeah.
I mean, because there had to have been like, you can't have like had like every single person you talked to about this event, all of them came. Like somebody might have been sick. Like someone else was like, meh. People know that you called people to a place, and then like there's just a bunch of dead bodies.
Yeah, I'm totally open to that being fallout of how I deal with this, but I don't think it's in between the
Yeah,
session.
no, it's not happened yet.
Oh yeah, well I mean this whole I mean we're very much starting like a second arc during which we have to deal with all of the bad things that you're all doing.
Yeah.
Right? Like the two of you, Agatha and Miro, especially, because you have unignorable, like pushing an old lady down a well, we could have ignored that. That could have just gone away on its own, right? The king is very busy and probably wouldn't have noticed that much if someone had just been like, I don't know, I haven't seen her in a while. Everyone would have assumed she died of old age. But killing a dozen priests with a dark ritual and then also cursing the queen to eternal slumber and then fleeing the kingdom, that's some serious shit. So we're going to have to deal with those things.
Okay, but anyway, about reputations.
Yes.
That hasn't happened yet. Got it.
Yeah. I don't know. I think Haunted also stays. Haunted hasn't changed or done anything yet.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see that I have been working on any other reputations which we haven't already made explicit mechanically. I don't think. Unless you have any ideas for ones I should put on that you've been putting as a front.
No. I think your reputation stuff has all been handled very clearly in the moment to moment of the game.
Cool. And the other thing I have is a 2 dice affiliation with the church, which is probably still the same.
Yes. Yeah. There's apparently Slight Quills is saying there's rules. Let me check for that affiliation for Alessandra.
Yeah, because I was reading those rules after they brought it up, and it says that there's a resources test required by purchasing an affiliation into a new organization. I don't think that the Queen's Circle is new enough to warrant it. It's like
no, it's new to you.
But if it demands expensive clothes or fine foods, like low nobility, I already am a noble, and this circle wouldn't demand.
Let me take a look at the rules. What page are they on?
Page 384, 383, 384.
Okay.
Yeah, it says like if it were obscure, extremely elite, or secretive, like a sorcerer's cabal, you would add some obs.
No,
like
I
I
think
feel like my association with nobility, I've already.
You don't get it. No, you don't get it. You don't get a free pass. You do have to make the test. It specifically says if you want to add a new affiliation, make the test. But it's not going to be that difficult for you because you're rich. They're not richer than you, which is the thing. That's the difference, right? Like buying into the nobility is supposed to be hard when you're a peasant, but it's a lateral affiliation.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you've been invited.
I guess this is sort of like buying within my own organization, right? Getting advantage dice there because it's like
no, you're not in this organization. You're not in the social club yet.
I know, I understand that, but I'm saying in terms of the why of these rules, the why is because you have to equip yourself. It's a resources test because you have to equip yourself to be.
Well, it says parties to throw, bribes to
level.
pay, gifts to give. So
yeah. So it feels more like advancing a vague noble affiliation than it does.
I know that it feels that way, but it isn't in mechanics. Like this is a new affiliation for you to join, and what you're paying for here is what the queen asked you to be a part of, right? Like before she was like, "Hey, we need your help paying for food for the poor," right? Holding.
Is that what this is?
Feasts of plenty.
The etiquette roll.
No, the etiquette roll was to be allowed to make the resource test. The etiquette roll was to get the invitation, and then this is you and your fellows. Like the other. So
the resources test would be resolving the charitable whatever,
putting your money where your mouth is, and paying to be a part of the social club.
So it's like two.
So there's social, there's like civil expectations from you where it's like, well, if you're gonna sit at our table, then you have to buy us all lunch, right? Like,
yeah, but I think that the charitable thing was not part of this. You made the point when we were talking about that I could choose to what level I wanted to strain my resources and make the roll based
and I think
on
this makes more sense. This is a mechanic to do that. This is you. It serves both purposes because you don't care about paying to feed the poor, right? Like you don't care about that. You're doing it so that you can join the inner circle.
So what are you saying the ob would be for the Queen's inner circle?
It's a 1 die affiliation. So it's 3 dice or 3 ob. And it's not like out of your station or not obscure or extremely elite or secretive. So it would be an ob 3 resources test.
And even if
then we're rolling back the clock because I can't make that test. So you're saying the action that we took in last session is now null and void.
Which?
Being able to be in the Queen's Circle because I can't make an op 3 resources test.
So if someone invites you to a party that costs $7,000 to attend, the invite is still there, even if you can't afford to go to the party.
Also, we can draw a line between like the fiction of like, yeah, you know, you're like friendly with them and stuff like that. Whereas like if you buy in, then you have the affiliation and that gets you this extra mechanical thing.
Yeah. And so
Well,
what you,
'cause the point is that I think that I was making the argument that already being of nobility, I would already have a lot of the equipment to be able to do this. And thus I should get the +2 die to buying into a.
but it's specifically the +2 die is buying up within your own organization, which is the nobility. So if you wanted to make a resource test to bump
But
up,
isn't that kind of what this is?
no, they're not nobles. They're
They are nobles.
no, but they're nobles. But this isn't about them being nobles. This is about them being a secret group, a little social group of people who the queen loves. So
We
the
do
thing is,
charitable works or whatever. It's like a
even if you don't have enough dice to make it, resources are abstracted, so you can still roll it and then have your resources taxed, and it just means you had to pay for it and you're suffering a little bit, right? Like you're not failure isn't going to be like you're kicked out. It's just you have to strain your bank account to join. Or you can choose not to make this roll yet, make it in play, and do some stuff to work up some extra money, and then buy into the Queen's inner circle when you have the extra dice. And then you'll get that 1 die affiliation forever once you make that roll.
Well, I don't know.
So let me look at resources here.
let's put it on hold for now.
Well,
right?
I mean that's the thing, right? Is that you don't have to make this decision right now, but it just means you'll get the affiliation when you make the resource test.
Yeah, like
But the invitation stays.
it's a choice you can make.
The invitation from someone who is effectively in a coma.
Well, still, it's the word of the queen, right? And it wasn't like an official proclamation. She just, mentioned you to her friends and was like, I think it would be good to have Alessandra, join us in what we're doing.
And this is a good way to follow through on that idea you were talking about off camera about like stepping into the queen's place, right? So like you embarking on being part of this organization, this little like small organization, and then taking it over while the queen is in a coma is totally a way to push that forward if you wanted to. But yeah, I feel like we can move on from making this decision now because this should happen in play.
Yeah, it can for sure. And yeah, like Chad is freaking out about the gift of kindness. I know. I just mentioned that, Chad. It's okay. If you fail a resources test, you can still get what you want. It just taxes you. We get it. Don't worry.
So moving on.
Yeah.
Does anyone else have any reputations?
Yeah, Joy.
I currently have 0 of every of those kind of things. The only thing I have socially is a relationship with the king. That's it.
Yes. Yeah.
And I don't really think I merit anything else. I've not joined any secret cabals or have widespread fame or anything. I'm just the jester. I don't think.
Yeah. And the fool covers that trait you just got covers.
Yeah, the trait covers the idea
jester.
like being the jester. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. All right. Good stuff. Okay, so
Magic, right?
yeah,
Magic stuff.
talk about the magic stuff. What do we want to do with that?
I feel like I merit getting a touched, so the 1 die spirit mark relating to all the stuff I did with the spirits of shadow.
Okay, what page is that on?
It is on page 320 of the codex.
Okay.
There's a lot of really confusing and wishy-washy language around it.
Dave, does your circle stuff get affected during this process too? Like your summoning shit?
If it does, I don't know that it does.
Okay, well we can double check.
Those work in the same way as reputations or affiliations. I know it's one of the two.
Something like that. Yeah. Okay.
So it would make sense.
So we'll talk about that in a second. Okay, so spirit marks apply to a medium, not a domain. You may devise your own spirit marks. As you practice your craft, the spirits start to imprint themselves on you. They leave their mark and you become more spirit-like. This benefits you tremendously, gives you greater sway over the spirit world, but is dangerous to your own soul. Let's see. Whenever the element, medium, or idiom of the mark is involved in the spirit binding test, whether or not the summoner is in one of their domains, they gain the applicable bonus dice to the test. They're equivalent of reputations in circles. Okay, so it's a reputation among the spirits.
Yeah. but that manifests itself on.
So it wouldn't be something like touched by shadow because that's related to a domain, not it's about you particularly.
Yeah, which is where it gets a little weird for me because their examples are fire, walk with us, teeth of granite, ghost of trees, whispers of water, and like all the spirit binding stuff is so abstract to begin with. This is like a subset of that abstraction that I don't quite follow what they're trying to get at. So I would.
So where's the? Oh, okay. Spirit marks apply to a medium, not a domain, right? To you, so the person.
So the medium is me.
Yeah. Okay.
And I am marked, but then it sounds like they still reflect.
They're meant to be. Well, they're meant to be versatile, right? So like, for you could have one about your willingness to snuff out human life for the spirits, right? Like willing to bargain, or price payer, or something like that, like about the fact
here we go. So medium doesn't refer to me. It's not like I'm a spirit medium. It's like it says examples include a grave, a single room, a tree, a large stone.
Okay.
So it's like the physical stuff that the spirits are connected to.
Okay.
Which.
Right, the medium as the place within where the summoning takes.
The thing that they're inhabiting or affecting.
Okay.
So in that case, an appropriate medium could be either from the scene at the church where I called on like all of the world's shadows, or the scene in the dungeon where I put that lady into the shadow realm forever. And so the like stuff around there, like that would have been where I like acquired the mark. So it would either relate to like dark places like caves, stonework, stuff like that, or like
forgotten places. Like, because it's what's the commonality of the places that you've been, right? Like the graveyard. I
mean, they were both graves, really, like, or places of death, right? Because one was a temple to a dead god, and then the other was the oubliette. And like, you don't get thrown in the oubliette to later be executed. You're just put in there until you fucking die.
Yeah.
So it's like to the doomed, basically. They're like places of doom, which I know is really like over the top. But
I like it.
Yeah, so I have like some mark of doom.
Doom collar, or
Mark of Doom works because you're gonna be hunted by the whole kingdom.
Doom hag.
Doom hag.
Let's come up with some cool names for metal bands.
Okay, and then like functionally, what do we say that is about? Is it about?
Hold up, wait.
Well, it's whenever it would be a 1 die advantage for whenever you can justify it. Like if you were trying to spirit bind in the middle of like a verdant field, I'd be like, nope, no doom for you. But if you're like, cool, I bury myself in a pit of bones, like, yeah, cool, more doom.
Are you getting a spirit mark for the Forgotten Realms? Is that what's happening right now?
Yeah, you can summon the Zentarum.
Yeah. Well, I'll work on that while y'all keep having conversations for other people.
Some kind of doom for sure is a thing. But yeah, like anywhere where there's hope or light or joy, not this joy, the other kind, you will not apply your mark. Your mark is about the slow degradation of goodness and light.
And being metal as fuck. Yes.
Totally. Cool. Okay. So yeah, I think it's reasonable for you to get a 1 die spirit mark for that. Okay, let me take a look at your biz here, Miro. So
yeah, I checked it. You can have a reputation with one of the orders or like specific parts of the orders. So I think the only ones that we talk about potentially, the only groups that know me are one angel who doesn't care enough to have spoken a single word or stayed around, just killed a bunch of people. Or we could go kind of weird with this. I don't know how much you've got nailed down about what the corrupting dark powers are, but having a reputation with them might potentially be something that would be cool to have for the character.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I was thinking, right? Was like, whatever, however we want to, like the infernal order, right? You have absolutely gotten the attention of Satan and his horrible minions, and like that'll be the angle in, right? Because yeah, you called out to God and the angels, but Satan picked up the phone. Yeah, no, I definitely think that the order of the infernal is like a thing for sure.
Yeah, so I guess something like a 1 dice reputation, unwilling conduit or unknowing conduit for the Order of the Infernal.
Open door. Right? Like
Open door is a hella good one.
like this dummy, like he's just leaving the door open, and whatever, we could just use him to get in. Yeah, I really like that.
We do what we want to when we want.
Well,
How should I write that?
So yeah, I mean, I think it's how does it work? Because you have 2 orders squared away already, right? You have Sanctified Dead, and what was the other one?
I think I have 3 actually. I have
Okay.
the Sanctified Dead, the Restless Dead, and I think Major Corporeal Spirit for angels. Yeah, those are slightly different. Those are orders, and they're very hard to get into. This is just a reputation with things that.
Perfect.
Like, it could-
right, it would give you a +1 die. Okay, yeah.
So it doesn't have to mechanically.
Okay,
be
yeah,
worded.
I absolutely think that, yeah, affiliated. Yeah, here we go. Affiliated orders of reputation. So yeah, a reputation, a 1 die reputation among the infernal powers. As being an open door, right? Like the suggestions here are like Harvester of Souls, Giver of Tribute. I think absolutely, yeah. Open door, 1 die, and it applies to.
May I offer some slightly different wording?
Sure.
It could be the unwatched gate,
Yeah. Okay, that's good
right?
too.
Like it's like there's no one guarding it, right? It's,
Yeah. Oh, that's really good.
and I figured out my mark of my spirit mark.
Okay.
It is long shadow of fate, and it's like the ominous,
Mhm.
like something casts a long shadow on you, like you're doomed.
You're the sundial.
And
whose
I think-
shadow falls on midnight. Yeah.
Yeah, the physical manifestation of it is that her shadow is always like a little bit too long and ominous. And yeah, she like casts like a strange, eerie shadow.
I'm just everywhere you go, there's like an ominous like sting of music as your shadow is cast along the floor and the
If she
wall.
passes in front of the camera,
Right, but
very high pitched noises will.
But
play.
it's something that people can't notice or pay attention to, right? Humans, this is purely among spirits.
Yeah, so like in the anime of this, she always casts a long shadow on things, but no one really takes notice of it.
You're already spooky, and this can definitely tie into that. Yeah. The big difference between summoning, like a ghost isn't a spirit, a ghost is a ghost. Demons and angels aren't spirits. Spirits are like the unconscious like powers of the world. So yeah, cool. They don't have an agenda so much in this way. Excellent. Cool.
And then
cool.
neither me nor Alessandra is particularly magical, and as such, probably do not require these.
I mean, I think all the characters are particularly magical, but in this
Aw.
regard, no, you just got your corruption going on.
Look, if
I
you-
just got a flash of this campaign, but like Disney though.
Jesus.
if you feel left out, then yes, write that belief about coming to see me, because it will be inevitable that you'll end up with some.
I mean,
sort
I already.
Forever will it dominate your
Yeah, I
destiny.
will. I'm sure.
I mean, if this were the Disney movie version of this whole thing, like I'm a queer coded witch character, so I'm the villain.
Oh yeah, of course.
Immediately,
Of course.
immediately the villain.
Okay. So let's see here.
Are we
let's,
set? Did we do it?
Well, we got to talk about beliefs and
right,
instincts now. So let's do that, and then we'll figure it out from there. So I'm thinking that it would be reasonable for us to jump forward at this point.
Let's do it.
To give everybody some space to like take some practice tests,
Please God, let me recover.
to recover from their injuries. 3 months is a long time. I was thinking like a month.
Let me get a wound die back. Yeah, that's all I require.
But yeah, I think so. I think when we closed on the last bit, Agatha had cursed the queen accidentally to a deep and powerful slumber, and then fled the castle. Yeah, is that what happened?
Yeah, she turned into like, maybe just to keep it in line with our hilarious thing of me getting rat speak, she like turned into a cat or something and left.
Okay.
You're familiar.
So Serica is traumatized by what happened and what she saw. She was the one that like screamed that like the queen is hurt, and then also Agatha the witch turned into a cloud of rats. So that's a thing that happened to her. So I'm gonna make a note about changing her up a little bit. So Serica is traumatized, and also kind of like ends up getting questioned by a lot of people over about what she saw. Right?
Yeah.
Like she spent some time with the Magus, with the king.
Like people think she's complicit in it or whatever.
Some people might,
Yeah.
Okay.
She's cast into a state of doubt.
And she also probably leaned pretty hard on her cousin, Alessandra, for emotional support, and also said all kinds of scary things about what Agatha the witch did. So Agatha fled. Joy, what did you do? Because
I mean, I was gonna have a knife friend show up, but I guess that's not gonna happen because it was Agatha's knife friend.
Well, my knife friend can still show up, and I can just hang out on the edge of town, and you can come hang out with me. And it's just that I'm a known evil hexer, and you take that risk.
I think that knife friend was Agatha's role, not Joy's. So yes, Broughton shows up at Agatha's estate outside the city.
We'll deal with that later.
Yeah, so she'll still show up, and she's hanging out with you, and you're like, I had to leave the castle.
Take a couple of months.
And she was
take
like,
a couple months to get there anyway. So, or I don't know how long.
I
But,
think we're looking at like generally a month.
Yeah. I have a death wish this whole time.
You do.
She's great. I don't know. I mean, Joy doesn't have a lot of day-to-day that requires much describing. She made fun of some people.
So for you, let's call it 30 days because we can talk about the practice rules.
Yay!
So this is how you can get some tests that you might need.
That's good.
So
This is how
Joy,
you get to Carnegie Hall.
I practiced my corruption.
all right. So Dave's gonna make a new character for the next session.
Okay.
So what I wanna talk about here, let me find advancement, is that you can use practice to advance your stuff. You can advance your stats. You can advance your skills.
I assume.
So I'm gonna look for something that has 1 month cycles. So you could practice a martial skill.
A social skill.
You could practice a musical skill. You could practice a physical skill.
Can I?
You can practice a social skill, or you can practice your power. It's like lifting weights. Oh yeah, we just get like a really awesome montage of Joy fucking pumping iron.
No, I think what we do is we get a montage of Joy stealing things. I think there's a lot of gathering going on. There's a lot of like preparation happening.
Okay. So what skill are you practicing for these
Sleight of hand.
30 days? Okay. And what kind of skill is sleight of hand?
It is it's like a physical skill, but I don't know entirely.
Yeah, it'll say in the skill descriptor.
Just gonna check 1 sec. Sleight of hand. Where are you? There you are. It's an agility skill. And can I practice that?
No, it's a special skill type.
That's a special. Oh.
Special takes 3 months to practice.
Oh, never mind.
You could
Don't
put
practice
in you could put in time. So practice fills in, and here's the thing.
No,
screw
it. If I can't do it in 1 month, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna practice persuasion.
Okay.
And finally close that out.
So here's the thing. For you, any kind of test, if you need one test of any sort, all you have to do is spend 2 hours a day practicing for a month, practicing to persuade people, which gives you 6 other hours to do other stuff.
I mean, I'm just gonna spend most of my days begging servants to give me like
so
a piece of whatever they're carrying, or
let's account for your time, Joy.
me.
So
Yeah.
of your 8 hours a day,
Mm-hmm.
you're gonna spend 2 hours practicing persuade, and that gives you 1 routine test. Okay.
Okay, cool. Well,
So
then
you still have 6 hours a day.
this is the thing I have to ask,
Yeah.
Adam. Can I learn skills I don't have with this? Or
Yes.
okay, so persuade is unlocked now. Thank
Yes.
God.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's fine. So you unlock persuade. You have 6 hours a day. And if all you're doing is trying to get any kind of test, again, you can work on a martial skill, you can work on a musical skill, a physical skill, a different social skill. You can keep working on persuade. Let me check. I think I got to double check your will.
Sure, it's 5, by the
Yeah,
way.
because there's a ceiling on how much you can practice based on your.
It's my will
Right.
is 5.
So you can force yourself to practice 15 hours a day, but sleep deprivation is an excellent source of fort tests.
Yeah, that sounds like a bad idea, and I don't think Joy would do it.
Well, let's figure out how many things you might want to do, and then we can.
I mean,
sort
I want to
through.
up my knife skill if I can, just because like there's some shit that's gonna
Okay.
go down pretty soon, I'm sure. And also my poison skill. I don't know if poison is the right kind.
Okay, well
of
let's do knife. So what kind of test do you want for knife?
I need for knives to upgrade it. I need 1 of either difficult or challenging and 2 routine.
Okay, so physical, you could do a routine if you practice knife skills 2 hours a day. You could
Okay.
practice 4 hours a day to get a difficult test, or you can practice 8 hours a day to get 8 hours a day of knife work. I don't know if and I think you can only do 1. You can get 1 test for each skill, so you're done with persuade.
Okay,
So how much
so
time do you spend
I'll
practicing
just-
stabbing?
I think I just take the 2 hours.
Okay, so you take a
and
routine.
Like a routine, yeah.
Okay, so that's
and this
another-
is basically Joy doing that knife game with your hand,
Right.
Where you like practice being accurate.
Okay.
Because her teacher hasn't shown up yet, so it's
Right.
like, fuck.
And it'll be easier. It'll be actually easier because she has instructor, right? So she'll be able to actually teach
Yeah.
you. But you're warming up.
And the last thing I guess we'll practice is I said poison, but I think it's a special skill, so
Yeah,
I don't
so
think
too.
I don't think I can do it.
Do you have another social skill you want to get?
I'm just kind of.
You could get a
deciding.
difficult test on another social skill.
What about falsehood? Oh no, I have 2 challenging and falsehood already. I don't need a difficult test in falsehood. Stupid.
You could get a routine falsehood test. It's 2 hours a day. 2 hours of lying.
2 hours of lying a day. Oh, good for my corruption, definitely. What about disguise? Could I practice disguise? Is that a thing? No, it's special.
Again,
Damn it.
you can practice special, but you're just getting a third of the time you need.
No, you know what? I will take a routine practice on throwing, which is like I think it's a physical skill.
Yeah, I think it is too.
So I
So
think
you want routine or do you want difficult for throwing?
I'll just take a routine on throwing, just because
Okay.
it's another 2 hours and like that's all the time I have basically.
I mean, you have twice as much time as that if you want. Like, 'cause that's
but
6 hours a
there's-
day. But
there's
yes.
a whole nother amount of time where I have to be like doing my job
Yeah,
and
exactly. You got
being
work to do.
present.
Yep. Okay. So you spend 6 hours a day persuading, practicing with your knife, and throwing. You mark a routine test for all 3 of those, and then you spend the rest of your waking time serving at court. And a fool. The like making people laugh part is higher on this time because I think over this month, the king is getting worse and worse at his job because he spends all this time being like, my beloved queen, she's in this horrible magical coma, curse that witch, and he's just like desperate to get her, but also like the kingdom is crumbling. So, he's become obsessed with like hunting Agatha and getting revenge, but also in the meantime, he's probably spending some time with the Lady Alessandra because
Ooh.
in times of need,
In times of trouble.
he turns to Alessandra, who I'm sure knows how to treat him properly. Alessandra, you have 30 days of test earning time. What would you
At
like
least
to
one
do?
of them is a fort test.
Well, seduction is absolutely a thing you could practice.
To level up seduction, I would need 3 routine tests. So I can't.
You can't upgrade it, but you can definitely take a routine test. What kind of skill is seduction social?
Let me.
I believe so.
I think so. Yeah.
Okay. And these things will reflect in the fiction, right? So like people have noticed Joy, unless I don't know, Joy, are you doing your knife throwing and stuff in secret?
No, I'm
Okay, so
in
people
fact-
catch you playing with a knife all the time.
Well, but
Yeah,
in
it's a
fact,
social
when it comes to the throwing, it's good for performance, right?
Sure.
So-
Okay. So people will notice
Yes,
that Joy has been
both.
playing with a knife, and also Joy. Like, there's definitely like some little rumors of people who are like, the jester asked me for a ducat of gold the other day. Atrocious. Like, and like it gets around, but it's a thing. Like people will notice this. If you spend 2 hours a day every day for a month practicing seduction on the king, like A, you get better at it, and B, he gets seduced a lot, right? Like we'll begin the month later with him being like, not wrapped around your little finger, but definitely like regularly having sex with you to feel better about himself and to like it puts you in a pretty good position where you're like, oh, the queen, I'm so sorry, my love, let's bone, right? And so it puts you in a position to write a belief to be like, you know, the king is pathetic and I can lead him around by his nose. But yeah, what do you want to do? You've got, what's your will?
My will is 6.
So you can spend 18 hours a day practicing your skills if you want to.
I think that it makes sense that in this instance that seduction would be a thing.
Okay.
I also think that courtship wise would be happening.
Oh yeah. So this is where there's a lot of like you're meeting with lesser nobles. Obviously your cousin arrives and helps you with this process. And what we can do too is if you want, you can we can do flashback stuff where you can be like, oh, let's talk about him arriving like later. But for now, okay. So where do you want to start? You want to do a routine seduce?
Routine seduction test. Yeah. So that's 2 hours.
Okay, so 2 hours a day of seduction, and that gives you 1 routine. Courtship wise.
I'm learning that.
Okay, so any test, and that's what's a wise?
Yeah, I think it's wise are perception based.
They are based
right?
on perception, but I'm not sure.
Skill type is wise.
I know, and I'm not seeing them on here.
I believe they count as academic.
Yeah, there's like school of thought, there's academic, and then there's special or miscellaneous.
It's literally says wise. as
I
a
know,
type.
yeah. I'm not sure what that one is. Like just learning about shit. Advancement practice for wises.
Or special.
Okay. All right. So you
Can't do
you can put in 3 hours a day for a month, and then just keep in mind you've got that banked.
I don't understand.
Okay, so you don't have to do it all in a month. It just means that if you spend 3 hours a day in courtship, basically improving your courtship wise, which makes sense, that's a reasonable amount of time. You've got 1 of 3 months, right? You have 30 of 90 days of that banked, right? Like when I talk about the cycle,
I don't think that there's any point to that because like unless we skip forward again, I'm going to be practicing this skill in play. And
sure, but you can do
banking
both.
That is,
well, you can.
thinking that is going to be like a waste of my time, considering that I intend to have it finished.
Okay, yeah. I mean, if you don't,
It'll advance before you actually can cash them in.
Exactly.
I
Because the next
you,
time we
but
skip forward, I fully intend to already have this.
right, but
skill.
it'll count as a routine test if you spend 3 hours a day. Like you're banking towards a routine test, and then when you finish it, if you spend another 3 months or another 2 months doing that, it'll count as whatever you had started working on. So it won't go away. It's not wasted time. It'll come back if you keep practicing.
I think that the amount of time that this is going to be applicable to my character does not warrant spending that time.
Sure. Now, rationally, in game, because you are going to have to deal with your courtship, what is the skill you want to bank instead? Etiquette, right? Like, I think it's important that we recognize, like, Joy. Persuade might be the job skill that Joy is working on here, or it could just be you're not practicing any time. But practice time can also be doing your job, which is why you could practice up to 16 hours a day, because you're also doing your job, and that's a form of practice. So what skill do you use to cover that?
I think there's definitely etiquette being involved, meeting with people who are of the court. Like a lot of it is like back and forth, like bullshit.
Okay.
So
What
etiquette would
what
be
kind
there.
of etiquette test would you like?
So routine is 2 hours a day.
Mm-hmm.
What's difficult or challenging?
So the whole table, if anybody wants to follow along, is on 47. 2 hours for a routine, 4 hours for a difficult, or 8 hours for a challenging test.
Per day?
Yes. Yeah, every day for a month.
Okay, 40. Okay, social. Here we go. I just advanced my etiquette. So I need 3 more routine and then either 2 difficult or 1 challenging.
You could take the challenging. You could spend 8 hours a day. That could be your full-time job, like getting hitched.
That'd be 10 hours already.
Mm-hmm.
Because I also want, like, I have falsehood and ugly truth being learned that I would like to get tests in.
Sure.
And then I also wanted, like, as a fictional thing for my character to be trying to step in where the queen is absent. Like, she had already talked to the treasurer. She, like, had an in with the treasurer. The treasurer was going to be present when she was talking to the barons or whatever. And the treasurer was helping the queen with a lot of shit. Like, I was wanting to, and I was wanting to do it in play. But since we're skipping forward in time, I was wanting Alessandra to have been attempting to, like, do some of that shit and maybe make some tests sort of skill.
Yeah,
that-
what we're doing right now is sparing ourselves having to sit through every time Joy makes a knife test, and also insulating ourselves from the risk of cutting off our fingers, right? Like, practice is, there's no failure condition, it just takes a long time. So yeah, what is basically you just pick skills and decide what you want to advance in them, and then we can justify them in the fiction.
Well, I mean, what is this ruling type skill? Like, that's not exactly what she's doing, but she's trying
Do you have like administration or something, or
Estate management?
I have estate management.
Estate management,
That, like, someone else's estate, I mean,
it could be
managing.
Yeah, I mean, you can help with estate management. Estate management is just for, like, knowing how to run, and I could see it applied to like a kingdom.
I mean, but okay, let's future build this, future proof this.
Sure.
If we get to a point ever where Alessandra is actually trying to rule a kingdom, would you say estate management is managing the castle?
Yeah. The queen definitely has estate management. That is a skill she uses on the regular.
Would what the queen was doing with the treasurer be encompassed in that? Because that is the connection that Alessandra has. That's probably where she would go. How can I help?
Yeah. I kind of see where you're going. So what part of what she was doing with the...
They made the point that, because I'm not 100% refreshed on what exactly was discussed in my mind. But there was a lot of, like, the king is distracted, and so we're trying to handle this.
Yes. Yeah, totally. And that's estate management stuff for sure.
That's estate management.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Stewardship,
Then that's what would have been being done, because that's what Alessandra wants to do. She's stepping into the queen's spot in terms of the king's bedchamber, and she's stepping into the queen's spot in terms of the estate management.
Now, I think you have to practice this at home with your own estate, because you don't have access to the queen's, like, stuff, right? Like, this is micro practice for the macro later. Because Because it's the same test. Everything is all exactly the same mechanically, but I'm just saying you don't, because you didn't buy that affiliation, you don't have access to.
I'm still peeved about that
Okay, well,
because we don't have to discuss it right
sure,
now.
we can talk about it more between sessions if you want.
I feel like it was very clearly saying gaining new affiliations, like with a circle, in so much as like, if you're born noble, advancing your noble membership is not buying into a brand new affiliation. It's not.
Well, is that what you want? Do you want to just be a better, more popular noble? Because that has
That's
nothing.
exactly what it
Oh,
is.
No, but that has nothing to do with the Queen's Inner Circle. You can do that.
But
That's
the
just buying
Queen's
up.
Inner Circle is a circle of nobility that has more sway over the nobles, thus like a plus than it does like just being a regular noble. That's the whole thing.
Yeah, on like Tabitha's character sheet, she has an affiliation that is noble, 1 die, Queen's Inner Circle, 1 die. So they're separate is the thing.
But I
but
just
anyway,
don't see how in the game that exists. Like, I'm looking at the rules for affiliation. It seems like buying an entirely new affiliation
which is what you're
isn't
doing.
what that is.
Well, no, that's totally what's happening. You're buying into the Queen's Inner Circle, which is an organization that happens
It's
also to be
nobility.
noble. Well, they happen also
like
to be nobles.
It's like an advanced like version of the nobility, but it's not buying into the nobility like from peasantry.
No, I'm aware, but the thing is, they're not.
That would be free ob, and that's what you gave me.
So hold up.
There are members of her inner circle that aren't nobles.
And this is a conversation about like this is like the Venn diagram problem, right? Where like though the majority of the people in her circle are nobles, it is not equivalent to your noble affiliation, which is like across the board nobles everywhere. And so it's your status among all of them. If your noble's affiliation goes up, then every single noble everywhere goes, oh yeah, Lady Elisandra of Corvidae, she is like hot shit, just kind of broadly.
Yeah.
And so its scope is different than this idea of the Queen's Inner Circle being like a club.
Yeah, like there's a
Right,
nun.
like the
There's
cool
a
kid.
nun in her inner circle.
So-
And she has no affiliation with nobles, but she does have a 1 die affiliation with the Queen's Inner Circle.
Okay.
Yeah,
I
so
just,
thinking
like,
thinking of them as nobles is true in most cases, but not across the board universally. But still, you can practice your estate management, but you don't have access to the workings of the kingdom,
that's fine.
because that stuff is handled by the woman you talked to before, the ones trying to.
This
help
would
you.
be like trying to get onto the King's Council.
Yeah.
Right? Where like not every noble is necessarily on the King's Council, but they might wiggle their way in, and it's a specific niche thing.
Yeah. Cool. Okay, so do you want to practice? You want to practice estate management to improve that skill?
Sure, yeah.
Because you want to get better at like doing queenly stuff, and you have a venue for it.
Yeah.
Okay, what kind of skill is estate management?
It's a special skill.
Okay. Do you wanna sink in some time and like bank it for the future, or do you only want to focus on stuff you can get tests in now?
No, it's fine. I have an estate. I will continue to have an estate.
Okay. What kind of test do you want?
Difficult.
Okay, so 6 hours makes sense. 6 hours a day running your shit. All right, so that gives you 1/3 of a difficult test. So mark that down somewhere. Cool. All right, so that's 8 hours a day. You have potentially up to an entire 8. So are there other skills you want to get tests towards? This is a good opportunity to get like routine tests for persuade and stuff that are quite hard when you have
I
to test
don't need
against people's
routine
wills.
tests for persuade.
Right. Okay. So you're above the threshold for those.
Yeah, I only
Okay.
need difficult or challenging. I need routine for falsehood and ugly truth. Those are both. Are those both social?
They're both
skills?
Yes.
1 month social.
Yeah. Do you want to get 4 hours a day of falsehood and ugly truth would get you 1 test for each.
Sure.
Okay. Lying, seducing, ugly truthing, and running your house.
Yep.
All right, so you can mark a test for ugly truth and a test for falsehood.
Mm-hmm.
Here you go. Okay, so routine for each. And that's 12 hours a day.
That's fine.
Killer. Okay. So for you, Reza can't spend an entire month like living with the mayor. Like the mayor's like, dude, you got to take your drama home. So he would return home, but avoid you at all costs. And like awkwardly, not like in any like stealthy cool way. Like he's just like not home very often and tries to like stay out of your way. When he knows you're going to be out, he's home, and when he knows you're coming home, he leaves. And then he's basically like turned the kid back over to the nanny. But it's unresolved, right? Like he still did that thing, and it's up to you if you want to pursue him for that.
Okay.
All right.
Destroy him, Blue Jay.
Yeah, seriously. Agatha?
Have you got some more hours a day to practice like stabbing?
Yeah.
Or him?
So my skills I'm practicing are conspicuous,
Okay.
radicate.
I like
Which
how
is-
you're practicing conspicuous while also hiding out, but you're being conspicuous to other types of people.
to other types of things, and also I am like haunting my estate,
Yeah.
essentially.
All right. So your will is what?
My will is 6.
All right. So 18 hours a day you have to practice.
So each of those 2 I just listed are social skills.
Okay.
So that's 4 hours thus far. Get
So
a
a
routine.
routine test for Etiquette.
Yeah, persuasion gets me to 6. Falsehood gets me to 8.
All right, hang on a second. So persuasion and falsehood.
Wait, you have 8 in falsehood.
No,
No,
hours
no, no.
hours
8
a day.
hours.
Oh,
So these are all routine tests.
Yeah, because I need a bunch of routine.
So
tests.
who are you persuading and lying to?
rats?
Oh my god, you're such a weirdo.
Yeah, I'm like
That's
talking
the
to birds,
best.
talking to birds and rats.
Look,
and
I
stuff.
have a piece of cheese for you. Ha, fool, there's no cheese at all.
Get wrecked.
Get
Well-
wrecked, rat.
Because I need them to do stuff for me because
Yeah.
I'm out.
No, it's
like,
so
I'm getting them
good.
to like help me on forming this little. I mean, I can talk to them now, so they're basically people.
Oh man.
And lastly, I'm gonna start unlocking cooking, so I get 1/3 of a routine test for cooking.
And that's how many hours a day?
It's a peasant skill, so that's 1 hour a day.
Nice. All right,
Spend
so
cooking.
1 hour a day cooking, get one routine.
Well, 1/3 of
Yeah,
a
right.
routine.
1/3 of a routine. Okay.
So I will note this in my notes. I have 1/3 of a routine test.
Practicing your falsehood on dogs is when you take a stick and you pretend to throw it and they run off and you're just like, ah, fool. I've still got the stick, you idiot.
And so that leaves
15 falsehood tests.
9 hours, Adam.
Yes. Yeah, I think so. 2, 4, 6, 7. Yeah, leaves you with 9. No, it leaves you with 11.
11 hours. Cool. I will get 1/12 of a sorcery difficult test.
Okay. So how many hours is that?
10 hours.
10 hours a day. Jesus, you're crazy. Don't go up to that old Agatha house. It's scary. All right, so 1/12 of a difficult sorcery test.
Yeah, I think that's the way to do it. I'm being witchy.
Okay.
Doing witchy
Of
stuff.
course, yeah.
Talking
Now
to animals and shit.
for base sorcery in the game, there's like special rules about practice, but for art magic, I think we're fine. I'll double check them between sessions.
Okay.
Cool. All right, and then you sleep 6 hours a day, I guess.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Miro.
yeah.
So here's the thing, Miro. We need to how do you justify all the bodies? Or do you and your friend just like dig up the icy earth and bury them in the existing graves that are already there? Because there is a mass grave, like just ready for you.
Just double pack these graves.
I was going to say the latter, but I also realized it might be interesting based on how you want the corruption of Father Robillard to go, for him to take them away somewhere.
Right, they're like the blessed dead now. They've been touched by your powerful magic.
Right, like whatever he wants them for. I thought it might be cool, not just so that it gets them off my hands, but so somebody is starting that process.
I got all these bodies going to waste. Do you want to do something with them?
Okay, so Miro, don't worry. Old Uncle Roblard will take care of this messy body problem for you.
Yes, and then he can become my teacher, so I can learn death arts faster. It's all
Yeah, you can
coming
learn
together.
necromancy from this nerd.
Well, so he doesn't know necromancy, but he'll definitely, yes, just be like, can you deal with this? He volunteers. Okay.
Totally fine. I'm more than happy with that.
All right.
So Miro just has like a mountain of like narrative debt that he has accumulated.
Oh, yeah.
He's just gonna get
Yeah, he has.
So
crushed
Miro, I
for
mean,
it.
over this time, any sane person would know that you are like being haunted, right? Like you wake up and the walls are bleeding, and like all of your books are turned around on the shelf, like classic poltergeist shit. You eat food and it turns to ash in your mouth, but like you probably don't realize or whatever that it's like. Maybe I think Miro is the kind of person who could just be like, yes, this is fine, as the walls like gush viscera.
This is fine.
Yeah.
It's definitely in the wake of this most present thing happening. The way I wanted to like illustrate the change that he's going through is he starts to get much less clear about the differentiation between what are signs of the angels that he's been reading into things, and then you coming up with this like haunting thing is perfect because he wouldn't be able to tell the difference.
So the angle I'm taking here is, rather than, because this is a drawback. This failed summoning is a drawback for you.
Yes, absolutely.
This ghost, in being sanctified, the sanctified dead have to give up some of their like earthly like desires and needs, right? So this isn't a I'm gonna murder the people who poisoned me ghost, and he may not even remember that that's what happened. What his primary motivation is, using the tools that he has available to him, is to torment you because you dragged him out of God's kingdom and then left him here. So he's just like, he hates you so much, and a normal person would be driven insane by his like horrible torments. However,
Already
You're
dead.
already insane.
it's already happened. So yeah, so now I think that Miro spends a month trapped in a world of hellish hallucinations, which he occasionally probably thinks are the signs of the angels, and like you're deep in a strange funk while you leave Roblard to handle the day-to-day of your cult, right? Your burgeoning people, right? He's like, no, the prophet must be left alone to meditate on these things, like, yeah, while you're spending 8 hours a day screaming in terror from your attic and having like blank out time.
Yeah, sure. If the fallout is I don't go to
fantastic.
practice, that's
No, you absolutely get to practice, but we'll talk about what you can or can't practice. What is your will, Miro?
6.
Okay, so same thing. You got 18
18.
hours a day. So what do you want to spend your 18 hours a day practicing, Miro?
Okay, here we go. Let's get something leveled up. So I need a difficult test for both suasion and oratory, which are social skills.
Okay, so suasion and oratory, that 2 difficult tests would be 8 hours a day.
8 hours, yep.
Okay, speaking in tongues and ranting about the Bible.
Are you talking to your ghost friend?
Yeah, totally.
Right, you're just trying to like convince him to go back to heaven.
Yeah.
Okay, so 4 hours of suasion, which gives you 1 difficult. And what was the other one?
Yeah.
Oratory?
Oratory, yep, so they both
Okay,
level
so
up.
maybe there's 4 hours a day where old Uncle Roblard opens up the window to your attic and lets people gather in the street to listen to you like rant.
Yes.
Awesome. You get these like weird attic window sessions. Okay.
Yeah, it goes from three up to 4 now, so that's
And
nice.
lo, the crazy prophet says unto the people, "Wah, blah, blah, blah."
Yeah. I mean, it's not like inchoate like rambling, but it's definitely religious.
I know.
ra-
I'm
but
just making a joke.
yeah, no, but it's true though. Like it is definitely like it's the rambling, literally the ramblings of a madman.
Yeah, like you're using it's in the shape of religious text, but just totally garbled and incoherent.
Right. Oh my god, that's so good. Okay. All right.
He had a really bad time while this ghost is here, but just experiences it in a very different way to everybody else.
Yes. Yeah. If you weren't already broken, this just like deepens the trench between you and reality.
Yep.
Okay, so that's 8 hours. You get 10 more hours. What are you going to do with it?
I want a routine persuasion test, so I can finally learn that.
And that's 4 hours a day, right? Or 2?
It's 2.
2, okay. So 2 for persuade.
Yay, persuasion.
1 routine, okay.
I also...
I think, okay, so you let me know about this, but I feel like those 2 hours a day are maybe the only time where like the sane normal part of you remembers that you're a person and needs like food and water, and you have to persuade Robillard to like let you like out of the attic. Like you're kind of a prisoner both of your own madness and of Robillard, right? Because you've put him in charge during this period. And so you're having to be like, I need food, I need water. I've been speaking for 8 hours, and he's like forgetting to come back and check on you because he's running the show outside.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, no, I really like that. That's pretty cool.
Okay. So
And I eventually get passable at it. I learn to do it by the end of the process. I learn to have a rapport with someone to the point where they can be
kind of
convinced.
understand you, yeah. And then the ranting starts up again. Okay, so that's 8. That's 10 hours. Do you want to do something with the other 8?
Yep. I think while I'm cooped up here, I might as well get 2 hours in on obscure history is a it's academic, but it's 6 months. Okay, I can't level that up now. In which case, is there anything else? I thought it would be important to start learning falsehood to explain away bodies, but now that we've come up with a better thing, I think he still just doesn't know how to lie.
Okay.
Which is really cool to me.
Yeah,
I kind of like that. I guess what I will do in that case is I will take, because it's very, like, I don't mind not getting the correct amount of points that I could get, because this is so thematically appropriate, that I will spend 5 hours a day earning 1/12 of a routine test for faith.
I figured you were going to do that. Okay. All right. So 5 hours on. You spend 5 hours a day praying, 8 hours a day ranting and arguing with a ghost, 2 hours a day begging for food and water from your weird jailer subordinate.
Yeah.
And yeah. All right. So 1/12 of a routine faith.
3 more, but I figure losing some of it to fitful sleep and having to put my life back together after everything gets like set on fire by ghosts or just like thrown about.
That's so good. I like it. Cool. All right. So that's how the practice system works. It's a fair amount of bookkeeping, but it also lets you make fill in those things, finish off some skills you don't have yet, and it puts us in a good place to write new beliefs for the next bit. So yeah, it's quite early, but a combination of kind of where we're at and also the fact that my streaming computer is being super weird right now, and I can't change scenes and run Roll20 at the same time. I think we'll probably call the episode here, and that'll give us time to prep for next week, kind of the new start of the next arc, which means beliefs and instincts. Feel free to change them up as much as you like based on our new situation, and I think that all of the characters have ended up in a pretty interesting, if not directly better place than they ended off. So
I mean, directly better is
hey, listen,
subjective.
you know things about knife.
I know. I guess.
I'm in a better place now.
Yeah, you were gonna go to a better place real soon.
Yeah.
So your reputation spread to me, and I already had a belief that you were bad news.
Oh yeah, no, we're gonna have to like Roger Bacon versus that other guy, like astral projection wizard fight thing.
Oh yeah.
I love how the smallest there's these individual moments of decision that happen in this game that suddenly like everything has changed. Like when you were like, yeah, sure, I'll take the extra point of reputation, so I have to leave the castle.
I kind of figured that's where things were going anyways, so it's fun to just like have this happen off camera.
Sure.
Like, I really find those kinds of choices interesting in shows where they're just like, and we flash forward. It's like 3 months later, and yes, something like Agatha's out in the woods now.
Well, and I had this whole idea of everyone being like, oh, what's happened to the queen? What a mysterious situation. Like the Medicars don't know what's wrong with her, and the Magus has these like suspicions and is like, this whole
No,
fucking.
it's just like
I
Agatha
figured-
did it.
She just
I
pulls out
figured
a can of spray paint, writes Agatha was here, and then pieces out of the castle.
I was expecting you, like, if we had gone forward, I was expecting you to just be like, yeah, you're getting arrested now, and I would be like, yeah, I hex him and like turn into a rat and leave.
Yeah. So
let's just do.
yeah, totally.
She just expects it because she's so grouchy. And
One of my beliefs changed from I'll find something to do about it to with the Magus to I'll confront him directly because I have a death wish. It's gonna be great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, you could just try to murder the Magus with a knife. Like
That's my plan.
so good.
he's still just an old man.
And then I actually really like that this is sort of a way to gravitate Alessandra back to the position of power she started in, right? That like this is such a good opportunity for Alessandra because her core competition is out, and the king immediately is like, love me.
I had a belief about wanting to try and like step in with the Queen Circle, but
Yeah.
I just can't, I guess.
Well, you can't. No, you absolutely can, right? Like you can have
You
that
can
belief,
get that shit over.
and it can be
Maybe
the very
that's what
first
I
thing you
can't.
do.
I don't have the resources to be able to
Yeah, but
make
you
that
can
test to
fail the
join
test
that
and still
group. So I can't practice the thing that I wanted to practice because I
Yeah.
can't make that test.
So the important thing here is with resources, when you make the roll, even if you fail, usually that doesn't mean you don't get it. It just means that your ability to get other things is then cut off at the knees.
Yeah.
So it's like your resource gets taxed, but you still get the thing you bought. It's just that it costs you so much that you're not as fluid.
Succeeding at a resources test is like buying a used car with cash. Failing a resource test is like getting a loan to buy a car you can't afford. So you're in the position to make the tests and succeed if you like spend fate, right? Where it's like somehow you manage to scrape together the money. Or, and I can tell you this right now, if you fail, I'll be like, cool, yeah, you're in. But you're like Marge in that episode where she only has the one Chanel suit. You're in over your head.
Well, I just don't understand.
Okay, well we can talk about it more between sessions, and we'll read over, like, take a minute to read over the resources rules.
I was interpreting it differently, and you said that the Queen Circle is some other like area that evidently a nun can afford to get into, but I can't.
I mean,
so-
the nun has help, right? Like the queen probably gave her some helping die to buy in.
Well, why don't I have help? I'm a part of the nobility. I should have a bunch of these resources already.
Well, that's what your resources skill is for. Go find someone to like lend you some money. Get your cousin to do it, right? He likes you. He just showed up.
He doesn't like me. He's an enemy affiliation.
Oh, I know, but he's acting like he likes you. I'm sure he'd love to lend you some money. He's got resources too, from home, no less.
Corporate money.
Well, and he's gonna show up and fucking peacock all over the place because he's like, I'm from the Corvidae estate. Hello, cousin. Look at my
God.
nice coat and my.
But the point
beautiful
being
hair.
is that a month has passed where someone was going to need to be stepping into this position, and I wanted to be able to be that person, but I can't.
Yeah, nobody has stepped in. There is no one person.
No, Tabitha has stepped in.
Well, no, but there isn't, right? Like the circle has been like, don't worry, Your Highness. Like we'll deal with this as a group. And that resources test can happen before or after, right? Like the idea of jumping forward is that nothing knife sharp, no significant piercing point will have occurred. There's 30 days of like, what the fuck is going on? And everybody is sort of reorganizing what they're doing.
I mean, I did knife sharp things, but that's because I have.
You know what I mean? Narratively. It's a metaphor, Joy.
It's a month later. You've murdered the Magus. What's Joy up to? That's not what we're doing.
Yeah. It's like it's a month later, and there has been some tumult. Like I think the first week is just everybody being like, "What happened to the queen? Where's the witch? Let's get the witch!" and pitchforks and what have you. And yeah, state of chaos, right? So there's absolutely that. The jump forward is not a closing in the doors of opportunity, and you will definitely have time to, get the resources that you think that you need to succeed at that test, and then do it.
Okay.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, so we'll give you some time to think about beliefs and what have you, and then we'll.
So we
we'll
call
start
it
on the
here.
next one. Yeah, I think so because I can't. We could be on this screen for the whole rest of the broadcast, but I can't. I can't switch to Roll20.
I'm
So
not gonna lie, it works for me.
yeah, because you got some. Well, why don't you start our shout outs?
Oh, okay.
Distracted Elf, she of the enormous audience lately.
I can't be in character for this shout out because I was never in character in game.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll just be me. Hi, I'm Distracted Elf. You already know me probably if you're here for this episode and none of the rest of the episodes, but I've been the Twitch partner spotlight this week. It's been insane. And
I got a host from you the other day that was like 1,800 people.
Yeah, like 1,800 people. Yeah, exactly. It's just like what?
Yeah.
So that's been cool. But you can find me over at twitch.tv/distractedelf or on Twitter at distractedelf. Tonight, like I would have been starting right after Burning Wheel, so 2 hours from now, basically, like when we would usually be done ish. I'm gonna be playing Ruiner, which I think will be fun. So Cyberpunk, awesome blasty game. Come hang out. It'll be great. I think. So yeah, that's it. Cool. Done.
Excellent. Thank you. The Witch Agatha, Andrew.
Yeah, come check out my stuff or I'll hex you.
It's true.
You can follow me on Twitter at ComedianCrow or check out my Twitch at twitch.tv/actualfactual where I work on my game Girl by Moonlight, which is a magical girl anime hack of Blades in the Dark, which you can playtest and all that. So that's me.
Cool. Thank you. Dave, the brother Miro.
Hello, everyone. It's me, the Dave. I kind of want the Dave now. Sorry. I am on Twitter, I guess. Sorry, it's just really funny to me. You've totally ruined everything.
Dave _ the.
Yes, Dave _ the. Also _ human. It was probably really confusing. You can see it in the link in chat. What am I doing at the moment? Nothing. Playing a lot of MMO. Getting really excited about Monster Hunter, even though it isn't coming out for like 6 months. I really want Monster Hunter.
I'm right there with
I
you.
had a dream last night about Monster Hunter. That's how much excited I am about that game. Terrible. But yeah, hope you'll join us tomorrow as well on the other channel doing the other thing with the dungeons and the dragons, because we had a little conversation, spoilers, about meat grinder mode, which is terrifying and exciting.
I vehemently disagree with this decision.
I think David, you'll be the only one that's going to take on that challenge.
I'm gonna take it the hell on.
All right. Cool. Yes. Dungeons and Dragons tomorrow. I'll talk a little bit more about that on my turn. Blue Jay.
Hi, I'm Blue Jay. You can find me on the internet at twitch.tv/BlueJay or on Twitter at BlueJay_712. And that's me.
Cool. Thanks, Blue Jay. Thanks for coming, everybody. Sorry about the slightly truncated episode. We'll be back next week with more. And as Dave said, if you want to see this crew doing the D&D thing, we are doing Roll20 Presents The Tomb of Annihilation over at twitch.tv/D&D at 2 o'clock Pacific tomorrow. We'll also be running last week's episode at 11 a.m. Pacific right here. So if you want to catch up, you didn't see last week's episode, you can come and check that out. I think you will find it entertaining. I've certainly been enjoying the game so far. There was a big we had a big announcement of some feature updates for Roll20 recently. One of which is the new Advanced Fog of War, which is quite cool. If you haven't seen that, check out our blog. We've got videos about it. Updates to the 5e OGL sheet, which you'll see some of tomorrow during the show, and then my personal favorite, because I'm biased, there's some really cool new drag and drop compendium stuff and new character sheets for award-winning tabletop role-playing game Dungeon World. So if you haven't checked those out, definitely go do it.
You know, it's funny. I think I might be playing some Dungeon World soon.
Yeah, sweet. You should. It's a good game. Thanks for coming, everybody. We'll be back tomorrow for D&D, and then pursuant to that, we'll be back next Thursday for more Burning Wheel. See you next time. And this is the part where I cross my fingers and my computer's going to do what it wants to do. Okay, go. Is it happening? Come on. Just keep waving. Oh, God. There it is. Bye, everybody.